Hello, my name is Mrs. Hay and welcome to the Student Success Channel. In this video, I will be talking to you about how to manage your time wisely so you can produce excellent grades. And this video will also include how to create effective timetables. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video on time management. Have you ever thought about how much time you waste each day? Or what are your biggest time wasters? Well, some of you would say watching YouTube videos, social media, watching TV or Netflix, to name a few. What about when you arrive at school 1 hour before classes, or get picked up 1 or 2 hours after the end of the school day? Can you honestly say that you use your time productively? If you were completely honest with yourself, you would admit that you waste between 2 to 4 hours every single day. What about procrastinating? Do you always complete your assignments as soon as you get them? Or study for a test days before? Or do you find yourself completing an assignment at the very last minute, maybe on the way to school, or maybe studying in the class before the test? Can you honestly say that you manage your time and that you get the best grades possible and that you think there's no room for improvement? If you would like to reduce the stress and frustration, as well as improve your grades, here are some useful tips. Tip number 1, make a timetable. There are many students who, the minute they hear the word timetable, they start to say, no, that doesn't work for me. I tried it, it doesn't work. I would love for you to listen to these simple points. Every timetable that you make is going to be different from one student to another student. But there are some general points that you should definitely take into consideration. In your timetable, you should always factor in study time. You can break it down into different slots in which you prepare for your classes, you review the notes from classes, you complete your assignments, and of course, you study for tests and exams. Another important component on every timetable is sleep. A lot of teenagers feel like 4 and 5 and 6 hours is adequate sleep, but it's really not enough. Another thing that should be on every timetable, especially now that many students are doing online and blended classes, is exercise. You sit for 6 hours in front of a screen, and therefore it's so important that you put exercise on your timetable. Extracurricular activities. Many students take part in sports, or music, or art, or they might even be a member of a club. You should absolutely factor that in on your timetable. And of course, when you are having face-to-face classes, you definitely need to take commuting into consideration. I'm going to share with you a very simple, generic timetable. You will feel free to modify this timetable according to what your specific agenda is. Ideally, we should try to wake up early in the morning. And then, of course, always factoring some time to get dressed and for breakfast. For those students who have to travel a considerable distance, you definitely want to place some time in your timetable for commuting. A general timetable should ideally have a segment during the day, let's say between 8 and 3 o'clock, where you slot in your school timetable for classes. Again, you have to factor in your evening commute, which in the timetable you're looking at is an hour, but certainly we know that there are students who have commutes of 1.5 hours, 2 hours, or even more, and so therefore you're going to modify your timetable accordingly. It is so important to have exercise in your timetable. You will notice that the timetable that you are viewing has exercise/extras, and it's done in this way because several students, especially those in 5th form and 6th form, will do extra lessons. So in the evening you will have time that can be either dedicated to extras or to exercise. Remember, exercise is important and you should try to exercise at least 3 times per week. Dinner is also allotted in this timetable, and that's your wind down time. So when you leave school at 3 o'clock, you have between 3 to 6 for a range of activities that really does not include studying. Your commute, extra lesson class, exercise, or dinner. In terms of studying, at 6 o'clock in the evening, there is your first segment from 6 to 7:30, where you will do assignments and or prepare for your classes. Take a short break of 15 to 30 minutes, and then you have another study segment from 8 to 9:30 where you study. If you have no upcoming tests, you can use this time to prepare for your classes that you have tomorrow or to review the classes that you had. An ideal bedtime according to this schedule is 10 o'clock, and I know that many students are going to say 10 o'clock is way too early, but don't forget, ideally you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. As I mentioned earlier, this timetable will vary from student to student. For example, a student who has a long commute may have to wake up before 6 a.m. to allow for this in order to get to school on time, and also may get home later in the evening. One good idea to maximize this time is to listen to podcasts related to study topics so that you can actually make the commuting time more productive. Students who are preparing for external examinations may find that 3 hours of study time is not adequate and may need to adjust this. In any event, it is critical that you get between 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. You will notice that the weekend schedule is significantly different. The first thing to note is that ideally you should take one night off to just chillax. This could be on a Friday night or a Saturday night. This could mean time with family or with friends, youth groups, watching TV, playing sports, social media, engaging in a hobby, or maybe just catching up on sleep. After a long week at school, you have definitely earned a night off, so don't forget to take it. Weekends are also the best time to deal with major projects and assignments, and also to study for tests. It is therefore important that you schedule at least 4 to 6 hours of study time each day on the weekend. Let us now look at a timetable that could be used for online classes. There are some similarities, and of course there are a few differences to a face-to-face timetable. The wake-up time is a significant difference. Because you don't have a commute, you can absolutely sleep in for an extra hour. So the key difference with the online timetable is the lack of a commute, and the big bonus is that it gives you extra sleep. But please do not lay in bed until 15 minutes before your class starts and then roll out of bed and roll into class. You still have to take time to get dressed. Some schools require that you wear a uniform or that you be appropriately dressed, and of course you have to eat a nutritious breakfast. You should also remember that when you're doing online classes, it's very important to have a routine, since you don't have the rigor of being at school and you don't have bells ringing every 35, 40 or 45 minutes. It is therefore critical that you keep to your timetable when you are doing online classes. It is also very important in an online schedule that you make time for physical and mental wellness. You should definitely take at least a 1 hour break at the end of the school day, whether it's 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. After 6 hours looking at your computer screen, you need to rest your eyes and you just need to take a break. It's also critical that because you have sat for the entire day, that you get up, go outside and take part in some physical activity. Take a walk, play tennis, swim a few laps, play basketball, netball. It doesn't matter what you do, engage in some physical activity. Tip number 2 for effective time management is staying organized. This may sound easy, but it does require focus and determination. You can achieve a high level of organization by writing down all of your assignments and due dates. You can use a planner, a calendar, or even a board. It is also important for you to organize your resources such as your notes, your PowerPoints, ebooks, past papers, etc. in Google Drive folders. This is definitely going to allow you to access them easily. Of course, there are some students who prefer traditional methods like using notebooks, folders, post-its, highlighters. It doesn't matter what you use. Try to get all of your material organized so you can find them easily when you need to, when it's study time. Tip number 3 and our final tip on this video is avoiding distractions. Many students have shared with me that distractions is a major issue preventing them from serious study time. Some of the distractions that are quite popular are the phones, social media, YouTube videos, TV, music, friends, etc., etc. It is critical that when it is study time on your timetable, you turn off or put away the phone and remove any other distractions. If you don't think that you have the self-control to do this, try to solicit the help of a parent. They will be happy to take your phone for an hour or 2 while you sit down to do some effective study. If you would like to share some of the strategies that you have used that have been successful in helping you to avoid distractions, please, I would love to see some of them in the comment section below. So to recap, effective time management strategies are going to help you in several ways, and these include planning ahead, prioritizing tasks, completing your assignments on time, and that includes big projects or even getting ready for tests. They will also help you to become a lot more organized, and the big problem that a lot of students have, it's going to help you to avoid the procrastination problem, and of course that will help you to reduce stress. After you have watched this video, I would like to challenge you to create your timetables by the end of the first week of school. Some students try to create it before the term starts, but it's ideal that you get your school timetable and then you create your entire week and weekend timetable around it. The critical thing for you to do is not just to create the timetable, but to take all of the advice and all of the tips and tricks and definitely stay the course throughout the entire term. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, or leave a comment below. Bye everybody. See you next time.